Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our extra special and exclusive World of Paws podcast.
Today we're covering the amazing graphic novel from Melissa De La Cruz, Gotham High.
Someone was high. In this reimagining of the Batman lore, Bruce Wayne, Selina and Jack Napier are all friends at Gotham High. And when a kidnapping shakes the school, their friendship is tested as the origins of these heroes and villains unfold.
Yeah, because it's the perfect, high school is the perfect setting for Batman, Catwoman, and the Joker.
Oh my God.
But before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
And more books like this.
Yes. So, yes.
This book single-handedly lets everyone know why a lot of comic book readers like ourselves have moved to manga.
Now, this book was made very, very, very recently. In fact, it was made this year. So this is fresh from one of the most fresh things from DC Comics. Too bad it doesn't feel like it.
Since this book is so screwed up, what year is it?
2020.
Okay.
It's 2020. Now, for here, as we said, it's a reimagining of Gotham, showing how Batman, Catwoman, and the Joker become the heroes and villains they are. And apparently they're all
It's the teen
friends.
years.
Yeah, in their high school years, because why not? It's the easiest thing we can write. And apparently everyone's got a freaking problem in this story.
Now, before we get deep into this, let's give a shout out to the channel that inspired us to do this podcast with their wonderful covering.
Yes, JLongbone. She is a person I've been subscribed to for a while who does pretty much reviews and reactions to different things. And she actually had reviewed the trailer of Gotham High.
And it was absolutely terrific and hilarious and perfection.
Yes. And they only and then did the one for the book itself. There was only one part at the time it was made. But with this coming out, part 2 has been released. We don't know if there's a part 3 or 4 because this book feels like it's forever long. But either way, we want to give a shout out to JLongbone and her friends who did a hilarious job reading the book for the ones who don't want to spend $17 to purchase the book themselves.
And inspired Rascal to get it for free from the library. Thank you, United States Public Library System.
Right. You got to let books like these go free. And we could show you a picture. This book is like
there's
fresh.
gonna be a picture there for them to look at.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And the copy we have is like in brand new condition. That means no one's really touched this book.
No.
It's brand new. There's no creases. There is no like tear stains, nothing. It's like it's brand new off the shelf, and this book's been out since the beginning of the year.
Yes, it was in pristine condition, and it's pretty much still in pristine condition since we finished it.
Yep, and we only read it one time, so clearly either no one bothered to look at the book, or they started reading it and then quit and then just gave it back immediately.
And that was one time too many. Now, we have to say we encourage and we love hearing of people striking on their own to create novels and comics and manga and anime and animation and all sorts of things. Original.
Mm-hmm.
We love original works.
Original.
And we also like reimaginings because sometimes they can be fun. Like with Voltron, we don't care what you say. Legendary Defender and Stretch Armstrong and
She-Ra.
And then, yes, and the Princess of Power. And there have been some reimaginings done in comics in prior years that have been good. Definitely not New 52, but there have been some.
Right.
But when you do a reimagining where the characters are unrecognizable and they're totally against they're totally different personalities, and they go against the grain of what they stand for or have stood for decades because you want to make it new, funky, fresh. Yes, this book is just as out of date as that statement. then there's a problem.
Yes. And it's evident in this book because when you open it, the chapters are as follows. Part 1, Remembrance of Things Past.
I wish this was things
What
past.
What does that even mean? Then you have part 2, the party of the century, because we're in high school and everyone has to have a party. And then you have part 3, which is called Behind the Mask That No One Wears. In this whole thing.
No, not in here. No, he's not Batman yet.
Well, there is someone who wears a luchador mask, but that doesn't really count, does it? Yes, and here's the thing. They really tried to hammer in the entire time that they give you almost every other sentence or page is dedicated to telling you that Bruce Wayne is going to be Batman. Jack Napier is going to be the Joker by having a ton of Joker cards. Bruce is going to be Batman because you see bats everywhere and he's part of the Bat team. And Selina Kyle's going to be Catwoman because she hangs out with cats.
But there's only one problem. This Bruce Wayne won't be Batman because we don't know who this Bruce Wayne is.
Right?
This Bruce Wayne is a teenager, and he is half Chinese and half American.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is there's nothing American about Bruce Wayne to balance out.
Yes.
It would be different if you were seeing both sides being recognized and you see elements of both sides.
Right.
But for some reason, the writer who says she's half Chinese and half Mexican chose to do, you might as well say an entire Chinese bit on Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Now, that wouldn't be wrong, and it wouldn't be bad, and it would be entertaining if we were reading Batman of Shanghai, which we really would love to see and read and so forth.
That would be perfect.
That would be fantastic. But when you're trying to say this is a reimagining of the lore, and this kid's going to be Batman, and this other kid's going to be Joker, and this other kid's going to be Selina Kyle, and none of them are recognizable, and this particular Bruce Wayne does nothing remotely close to giving you any indication that he has any values or morals.
Not really.
Or he's gonna be Batman.
In fact, no one in this book seems to have any type of moral code. Other than trying to rescue someone being kidnapped, no one really has any good fiber in their bodies. I mean, the school is full of bullies. People get beaten up. People get kidnapped. People rob, steal. They show his backstory for the 10 millionth time.
And they change the backstory for his parents instead of the parents, and we don't care about giving you spoilers of this crap because you're not going to read it.
Who cares?
Instead of the parents being robbed on their way home from the opera, somehow they're in the house. They come in. You see the mom tied up on a bed.
In the tub. She was in the tub.
I'm sorry. And the dad's on the floor, and then suddenly they're both deceased, and the mom has changed places. But you don't know what happened. You don't know why they did it.
They're just
you don't know anything, and
we're supposed to feel sorry.
You don't even know when this happened. Yes, they failed to tell you at what age this happened to Bruce.
They just said, "Oh, he was a
kid."
Right.
That's it.
They just said,
it just happened.
Right. It just, oh, he was a kid. Okay, when? You didn't. That's not specific enough.
What age did it happen so we know how it affected him? If it affected him. When his life began to change, no, they tell us nothing. And speaking of changes, Alfred is totally unrecognizable. Yeah. Alfred is nothing like the Alfred that we know and love. The kick-ass, badass, an expert at everything. Alfred, who's a father figure to Bruce. You can just forget that.
Yeah. In this book, Alfred is now Bruce's uncle.
And much younger.
He's also Chinese, so he's the sister of Bruce's mother.
Yes, yeah. We forgot to tell you, sorry. Bruce's mom in here is Chinese, and the dad is American.
Right.
And yes, now Alfred is his brother, his uncle.
That's brother.
That will be his brother, being more interesting. His uncle, biologically.
Right.
His mom's
Chinese
brother.
Right. and he is now gay in this universe. Then they show his husband in a later chapter. But here's the thing:
he spent more time with the husband in the relationship than taking care of his nephew.
Exactly.
And now suddenly he comes out of the woodwork and decides, you know what? I have been negligent. I need to take care of you. It's a little late now. He's already gone down the wrong path.
Right. And they explain that he sent him to Gotham High in a boarding school the day after his parents were deceased. So clearly Alfred did not want to take care of Bruce. He had his own thing going on. So he sent him away and then comes back.
They sent him to Gotham High. He was sent off to boarding school.
Right, that's what I meant.
And then he ends up at Gotham High.
That's it.
Because the soon-to-be future Bruce Wayne gets expelled.
Yeah, and I guess he's a little vigilante in here too because he beats up the bullies and picking on the nerds. It's like, why? okay.
I guess the writer's saying that Batman is a bully.
He beats up other bullies, I guess.
Yeah, he's a bully and he is a problem child.
And it's like, what?
He's a delinquent.
Yes, he's a bad boy. And then you have his later, I guess, acquaintances. You have a Jack Napier who's supposed to be the Joker before the Joker.
Here's the thing in here for me. He is nothing at all like the Joker.
No.
And this book does not give you indication on how his turn to a life of crime even has any birth coming.
No.
Forth. I mean, there's nothing. He's nothing. Who is this?
Right. Melissa De La Cruz trying to get the point across that because of Jack's upbringing, he's in clearly a very bad household with his parents really not caring what happens to him, and he's doing his own thing. He only has Selina as his friend.
Which also reminds me of Casey in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like she lifted that storyline.
Yeah, it seems like it's from there. It seems like Selina's the only one he really can count on and cares about. And you kind of find out there he's pretty much like a stalker. But here's the thing, though, that really gets backwards. You're supposed to be telling us how he becomes this villain. Well, two things wrong, too. Selina is totally fine with him stalking her. She loves it. And two, he does nothing else bad. Nothing he does is considered bad in the book. So how is he going to become a villain when you've given him nothing that says he's a villain?
And he's in love with Selina.
For some reason.
Yeah,
he's
in love with Selina.
Yeah, and then, unfortunately for him, now it's a freaking love triangle with her and Batman. It's like, well, we know Batman and Selina had a thing already in the comics, but there was no need for a love triangle. Joker wasn't interested in Catwoman at all in the regular timeline, so suddenly De La Cruz thought it would be interesting if the Joker, Catwoman, and Batman were all in a love triangle like this was Riverdale.
Well, Selina in here is not Selina. And Selina in here is Latina, and she's wealthy as Bruce is now. And their families actually live next door to each other. How you like that one?
Right.
She also now has no scruples and no morals. What has been part of the appeal of Catwoman is, yeah, she's a villain, but there are times her conscience, she has a conscience, and she'll do the right thing, or she'll help someone, or she'll help Batman. And those are the things, those instances are what has made Catwoman appealing, because one minute she's a villain, the next minute she's helping. 1 minute she's a villain, the next minute you can call her an anti-hero. You never quite know what's going on with her. When here you do. She's up to no good. They
try to play it down as her trying to help her father.
She's angry. She's an angry, wealthy girl. She's angry at Bruce. She's angry at the Joker. And she, although she slept with both of them, she can't stand either one of them.
It's like, excuse me?
You go figure it out.
And then they actually have Poison Ivy in here. Before she goes Poison Ivy, they just call her Ivy, and she ends up with her.
Poison Ivy's Korean in this version.
Yeah, which is very confusing. Not her being Korean, but her being with Selina, because from what I'm seeing now, it seems like in this new version, not Gotham High, but just in DC in general, she ends up with Harley Quinn.
Right, exactly.
So, because people have been shipping them for a long time, so it's kind of odd to see her go for Selina when you've already established this already new thing.
Right, and if she's being gender fluid, that's fine, but that's not the problem. The problem is this character seems to not know what the heck she wants, what she wants to do. She's angry at everyone, and even though she ends up with Poison Ivy, she also seems to be using her as well.
For something.
So this particular version of Selina Kyle is someone who uses people.
Yes.
All the time.
And another thing we also have to mention is that all the characters in here have been changed to be, in the quotes of the author, a multicultural Gotham. Nobody looks like or acts like the original characters. We understand it's a reimagining, but everyone is from another part of the world.
And Dick Grayson is now the same age as Bruce Wayne, and he gets his butt kicked all the time.
Yes, he almost looks like Luke Fox from the Batwoman series. So people really thought this was Luke.
Yes.
But no, it's actually Dick Grayson. And I'm like, okay, unrecognizable. And that's another thing, as we're getting to, everyone has been changed altogether. If they didn't tell you who they were, you wouldn't know these were the same characters.
Except that they give you hints. They give you little hints that aren't subtle, like with Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon is now a black female principal. And her daughter is Barbara, instead of Barbara Gordon, is now Barbie Gordon.
And she's friends with Selina.
Yes. And they vape. Joker vapes for some reason. I guess because he's, I don't know, because vaping's cool to some people. Isn't that dangerous?
That means he's on his way to being the Joker because he vapes.
Even the Joker,
the connection.
Yeah, Joker never even smoked. He didn't even vape, smoke, nothing. He actually kept himself pretty healthy for the crap he was doing. But the changes for this make no sense. Why bother changing everyone's country of origin or nationality and gender and everything when they serve no purpose other than to just have more characters in here be different?
Let's do a little entertaining for you. Here's the back jacket of this book. After being kicked out of his boarding school, 17-year-old Bruce Wayne returns to Gotham City to find that nothing is as he left it. What once was his family home is now an empty husk, lonely but haunted by the memory of his parents' murder.
Ooh, so
Selina
spooky.
Kyle, previously the innocent girl next door,
Previously.
now rules over Gotham High School with a dangerous flair, aided by the class clown Jack Napier. And in no way at all is he in this book funny. When a kidnapping rattles the school, Bruce seeks answers as the dark and troubled night. Or is he actually the pawn? Nothing is ever as it seems, especially at Gotham High, where the parties and romance are of the highest stakes.
Romance!
And where everyone is a suspect. With evocative art by Thomas Patilli, not evocative, this new graphic novel is just as intoxicating as it is chilling.
Oh,
it's
toxic.
definitely chilling, but not intoxicating.
No, it's toxic.
Where dearest friends, nobody here is friends, turn into greatest enemies, all within the hallways of Gotham High.
What?
Don't believe what you see. And then they have the audacity to rate this as a graphic novel for young adults.
Teens are supposed to read this. This is like and even the creator said it's supposed to be Gossip Girl meets DC characters. This is more like Riverdale. This is Riverdale meets DC. Because if you've seen Riverdale and how suggestive it gets is the clean way of saying it for this entire series, even when it goes Looney Tunes, this is the theme of the book.
So maybe De La Cruz, that was her target audience. Maybe
I guess
that was the publisher's target audience. There's only one problem. Miss De La Cruz is out of date.
Yes,
There's so many phrases that people haven't used since the 90s. There's clothes that just don't make sense. There are things they're doing that no teenager does now. And it just seems like this book is it's lost in a time warp. And it's clearly supposed to be current day. So it's not a reimagining with a throwback, which would have been more sense.
Right.
But it's supposed to be current. And Miss De La Cruz.
Yes. And I can agree with the title where it says, It says, I didn't look, it says, the readers of the Ultimate Binge, I didn't look up once. Yeah, I couldn't look up once because this was such a train wreck, I couldn't stop reading it. It was just like,
And I
what
couldn't
can happen
stop
next?
laughing.
Me either. And one last thing I want to point out about the characters is that she is doing everything possible. Plus, with the illustrator Thomas Patilli, trying their very, very best to make you like these new versions. Why? Because, as Mama mentioned, that Alfred was a kick-ass character already. It seemed like in this book, she is having every single panel when he's in it, he does something cool. They even say, your uncle is so cool. Oh, he can buy out the authorities to keep Bruce from getting in trouble. He knows all this stuff about medicine. He has a chef that can cook all these great Chinese dishes. He's a martial artist. He can do just about everything. He is basically what Batman's supposed to be. He does literally everything, and they're supposed to make you like, trying to force you into liking this version of Alfred, like, just because he is Chinese, he's gay, and that he can do all these new things now, just because you change everything about the character doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a better interpretation.
And it's not. It's more like he's being flashy. And as anyone who has read any version of Batman knows, one thing that Alfred is not flashy. You know from all the things that he can do that he's lived. You know that he's lived. He has quips for Bruce. He knows how to put him in his place. But he's always very elegant, very regal, and very capable of doing everything. Right. Even in the Gotham series that aired on Fox, yes, that Alfred was a little more rough around the edges, but he still managed to, be badass as you love him, but he still knew how to be regal and professional and elegant and be a parental figure for Bruce. This particular Alfred is unrecognizable. That's the best way that I can put it for you.
Nope.
So, what good things do we have to say about this book? The best thing is that the story ended once we closed the pages.
And it's not canon to the regular storyline of DC Comics.
And we are grateful for that. The only positive thing I can say, and the clothes are hideous. The coloring is really good.
Yeah, it keeps its tone.
The color's really good.
It does give you the sense of watching, like when you see Riverdale, it has the same tone, so it keeps the tone that it wants to keep. It's not trying to be a comedy and switch around between genres.
The animation of the drawings, we should say. The drawings, at times you can tell that they were rushed, or the characters were half finished, and a lot of stills, the characters don't even look like themselves. You could mistake them for someone else. I'm really trying to find something good to say about this. Okay, DC gave someone an opportunity to produce something different.
That is true.
DC took a chance of reimagining the backstory of this character.
That's true.
They
try something different from the regular storyline into getting more teens into reading comics. They attempted something that they believed teens would want to read.
At one point, Bruce went out for pizza
and ice cream.
Yeah, that's positive.
That's something he would do.
I can't find anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's see if I can.
I hope there is not a sequel.
Well,
hey, that's the bright spot. Through as badly as this book is done, there will not be a sequel.
Yep. They leave it on a point where you think there's going to be a sequel, but I doubt it. It's supposed to be like a cliffhanger, but I doubt it.
If you are brave, or if you really want to have some laughs, or you just want to go, this is a WTF moment, then go ahead and get this book from the library. We don't recommend buying it because the U.S. price is $17 and the Canadian price is $23.
Why?
And you will want to throw this book in the fire once you finish, and you will be so sorry that you spent the money. I don't say that often. Spend it on manga.
Yes.
Or buy some retro comics. and don't invest in Gotham High. The thing that's really sad about this is that years ago there was actually artwork out for Gotham High.
Yes.
It looked nothing like this book. It was very interesting. There were excerpts. The characters were interesting. It looked like it was going to be a really great series.
Right.
And then someone dropped the ball and decided to try to make it cool for today's teens.
Right.
The worst thing an adult over the age of 25 can do is try to make something cool for teens.
Yes. And when we saw it, it's like, hey, this actually looks fun. It looked like it was supposed to be more of a satire of Batman, which when you saw how they look, it was obvious they were the villains, gonna grow up to be the villains. It was really goofy looking, but still grounded in some type of reality. It looked like it was a satire, and it actually would have worked.
And we actually were looking so forward to it. And then year went by, after year went by, after year went by. And after about 2.5 years, we said, oh, well, clearly they're not going to make this. They didn't. They made this.
No.
And it was a bad move because if you do a keyword search on Gotham High and put in maybe 2015, you will see the artwork and you will see the excerpts and you will see that it's nothing like what was put out.
Yeah.
So, if you have somehow gotten roped into reading Gotham High, let us know what you think in the comments below. And again, if you want to take a chance, want a good laugh, want to see just how badly this was done, there's no other way for me to put it, then go ahead and get it from the library and let us know what you think in the comments below. And for some hilarious laughs, and we took so much time we forgot to read them, you can go to click the link and go to the
JLongbone's comment section.
Yes, channel, and read some of those comments. They're absolutely hilarious, and you will see that there is not one positive comment on this book. It's not herd mentality. It's not mob insanity that everyone's feeling the same way because one person said this. It's because you've read the book. It's because you've seen it yourself. It's because you know a good book from a bad book. You know that there's no redeeming quality about Gotham High. Now, last thing is Melissa De La Cruz has written other books. And probably most of those books, if not all of them, are better than this one.
She's even written for Descendants.
Yes. So, it is definitely proof that she has writing skills. And that she can write things that are interesting. Again, maybe this is the direction that DC told her to go in, and she had to write based on the direction she was given. Right. If that's the case, our sympathies. If they gave you free reign and then you decided to do this and chose to do it, again, our sympathies. Please don't do it again.
Please, no. Save us all the trouble and the money and the time. So, thank you. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This thing is making me losing brain cells reading this. So let me just say, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and more to pause videos.
And not another issue of Gotham High.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching my Masculine Entertainment.
And then Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams. She was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it